panelists.
Welcome, everybody, and thank you for joining us here today to our humble session with our amazing panelists. I'll give a few minutes for each to introduce himself very quickly before we dive into the topic of harnessing data to unlock growth in the kingdom and touching on two very nice and key topics on that. So, to you, Munir, before we go.
Thank you, Rod. Is this working? Yeah. So my name is Munir Al-Aris. I've been working in the data and AI domain for the last 33 years, 20 of them in Saudi Arabia, working with different government sector departments, ministries, as well as private sector companies, helping them with their data and AI programs.
Thank you. Ashish.
Hi, Ashish. I'm the managing director for Epsilon with the product wing of Publicis, and very excited to be here and hopefully meet a lot of you.
Great. Hi, everyone. My name is Anas Al-Sharif, and I'm the consultant for Tree, Saudi's first digital insurance. Very excited to be here, especially with Ralph, very close, dear friend. I'm very happy to be talking and sharing with you experience about a topic that is very close and dear to my heart as well.
Great. Good afternoon, everyone. And my name is Anas Al-Hazmi. I'm head of e-commerce and digital transformation at ALJ Motors. Inshallah, today you will have a great session with us and also informative information, hopefully. Take care and thank you very much.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, everyone. So we have two Anases, by the way. We were having a different setup plan for sitting.
We agreed we were going to squeeze Munir, but
in the
not
middle,
sure what
so
happened
yeah.
to that
So
plan. Yeah.
I'm just going to have to channel it, like this. That's fine.
Yeah.
What we'll be touching base on today is on two very key topics when it comes to data. The first one is, has the reality caught up with our ambition? Everyone has ambitions when it comes to data today. So has the reality caught up with that or no? And the second topic is data a burden on organizations today? Is the collection utilization trade-off being a burden on organizations? And starting with the first topic, which is ambition versus reality, everyone wants to build a success story about data. Everyone wants to say that we use data successfully to inform a business decision. And my first question will go to Anas Sharif in this case, coming from this startup ecosystem and understanding this consulting part of startups. Is this the case in startups today? And what do we do to close the gap in the kingdom today if ambition is really far away from reality? What do we do to close the gap?
That's a great question, Ralph. I think there's no doubt that the ambition exists. However, whether or not it has caught up with our reality will actually have to be broken down into two parts. If we look at well-established businesses, global or local, in my opinion, few are utilizing data efficiently. ALJ is one of those, of course. Why only few? While these organizations understand the importance of data to their business, their mentality is not a data-driven one. We bring in data scientists and engineers on board. This is something we were talking about yesterday, Munir. But we quickly turn them into reporting tools and reporting machines. We don't fully utilize their time.
Absolutely.
Businesses tend to overcomplicate what data is. But let me tell you what it is not. Data is not rocket science. And to truly unlock its potential, we need to approach it in a more trivial manner. Which takes me to the second part of my answer. You know who figured this out, guys? Startups. Agile, data-driven startup businesses that are disrupting markets and reshaping industries. According to research done by Lucidity, about the top 10 Saudi-born tech startups to date have collected over 4 billion riyals in funding.
That's a big one. That's close to the 5 billion we're talking about.
Absolutely. But that 5 billion was much more valuable. That's in reach, and you can't really buy that with pure budget. Anyway, a major factor to this success that we're talking about is taking small actions, using data, and making informed decisions, and just simply repeating the cycle.
Amazing. Anas.
Sorry, I'm actually not done. I just still have a very small part. What organizations today need to do to bridge that gap is they need to take a book out of the startup businesses. They need to look at what startup businesses are doing.
Absolutely.
And they need to learn data culture.
Absolutely.
This way, you have data literacy within your organizations, top to bottom, ensuring everyone is harnessing data. And this way, this data-driven culture will actually enable you to spend less time convincing key stakeholders with why certain strategies need to be changed and certain actions need to be taken, which in my opinion is the key challenge legacy businesses are facing today.
Beautiful. Anas, do we see the same sort of phenomena that Anas just discussed I mean, you had a pretty mature and well-established e-commerce in the kingdom specifically, and you've seen the ins and outs of this. So is this the case, again, when it comes to established e-commerce organizations?
Okay, before that, we need to have that booklet from startups. And yes, and to be honest, there's always a struggle between the ambition that we have and for entrepreneurs and leaders and organizations and the reality. And that's also a debate that happens usually. And I will give you one of the examples that for more enterprise or more bigger organization that they came and also have difficulties with the data and with analyzing that and getting inputs and getting really business values out of it. For example, one of the things, I'll just give a general example, lead management, for example, giving for automotive, for example, getting from leads from different social media, from different platforms and so on. When you come and look at it, you want to make it more AI driven, machine learning modules and so on, and you want to give it more priorities, more quality leads to our call centers and so on, to give more conversion and to get more better business results. You come and look at the data and you work with your partners on that, and then you suddenly get hit with the reality that the data is scattered, the data is not the quality of the data is not there, and then you need to reshape, you need to revamp the things, and it's sometimes some organizations have different tools and different technology, and it's different, and, it's in different areas, and they need all to sort it up. That's why I always say, for organizations, they have to go a little bit, 2 steps back and think about their strategy of data. What is our strategy of data to match it with their business goals? And then they need to do 2 important points about the organization setup and the talent and the team to work on that. After that, everything will fall in the right place.
That's how we can bridge the gap.
Exactly, bridge the gap, and then your reality exists, your maturity and reality, and your tools and power that you have.
Absolutely, beautiful. Thank you.
Well
Thank you,
said,
Anas.
well said.
Munir, what about again, I'm just trying to get all the optics out and out of our panelists here. So what about, you've seen a lot of industries across the board in Saudi, in the region as well, maybe. So does any industry stand out when it comes to ambition versus reality? Do we see are any industries privileged today when it comes to ambition versus reality to a certain extent?
Yeah. I think the more competition intensifies within a specific industry, the more they move ahead with data programs. So for example, 15, 20 years ago, it was the telecom industry deregulating in Saudi Arabia, which intensified competition, and benefiting from data became a survival topic, like doing more aggressive offers and discounts and so on was a race to the bottom, and the only way to get out of it was to use data in order to be able to compete effectively. And that's what telcos did extremely well in Saudi Arabia. Now we see it coming in with more with banks as competition intensifies, and banks have to deal with fintech startups who are coming in as digital natives and data natives, and we see it coming more into retail. Even the entire Saudi government now positioning itself as part of Vision 2030, building the competitiveness of the country. We see data playing a key stage role. Competition is extremely good for advancement in the data domain.
Couldn't agree more. And Ashish, what have you seen from the consulting side of things as well?
So, Ralph, I've been going through a dilemma. Should I talk to you or should I talk to the audience? So I thought I'd look at them so that they don't fall asleep.
I'll take it at the
Yeah, so it's no insult to you. You're a very handsome man.
Go ahead.
Very simple answer. Reality is really behind ambition. And I'll give a case that just happened a month ago. I'm a holder of a bank account, at a large bank. I've been banking with them for 22 years. And about a month ago, I got a mail from them saying, Mr. Ashish, would you like to open up an account with us? And you could immediately see how data is not talking to each other in that company. And this is a small example. I won't bore you with the theory, but data management is still quite poor. And in terms of what you can do or what companies should be looking at, there's the very traditional framework of people, process, technology. Anas talked about people. You need a culture of data, and that's not very easy. You need to have the right process of how you collect data, how do you manage data, how do you report data, how do you use data, the data, and then you need some good technology underneath it. And it's not easy, but that's
Absolutely.
sort of the guidance I have.
But you touched based on a very key point here, which is, do we need to sort of crack the core before we go on and start utilizing or leveraging external data with the organization? And again, I'm reiterating on whether this is different in each of the contexts that you guys are in, because I think we have a very nice and diverse uptake when it comes to this. So do we need to crack the core and crack our internal data first, or can we start effective immediately, using external and internal data and, start informing decisions? What is the not the right approach? What is the more convenient and efficient approach when it comes to each of the ecosystems? Again, we'll go Anas, and Munir and Ashish, since this is working.
That was actually a great segue, Ashish, to this second question. So I think what you're touching upon is utilizing first-party data. I think that's an absolute no-brainer for any brand to be able to truly understand their customers. You need to understand where are they in your customer decision journey. You need to understand where are they in your customer lifetime journey. And accordingly, you personalize communication and serve that communication to them. But going back to your question, in my opinion, leveraging data the right way is being able to fully utilize its spectrum. Meaning, of course, using both external and external data. It's not like you can start with internal, master that, and then go external. I'd like to remain within context of what we do as marketeers and within the ad industry. And what Ralph and I can tell all of you out of experience and challenge is the true magic happens when actually both internal and external data work together to deliver winning media strategies and world-class optimization. This is super crucial. What I'd like to leave everyone with regarding this topic is media agencies are our success partners. And it's our responsibility as marketeers to have a full understanding and grasp on what media is, what media strategies are, both in terms of planning and in terms of execution. What this enables us to do is it enables us to clearly identify what are our objectives as marketeers and as clients, and be able to clearly relay those to you, as opposed to giving you objectives and targets that are unachievable. And this way, and only this way, we will be able to truly unlock and achieve the full potential of this partnership.
Beautiful. Anas, what about when it comes to data, to ALJ and your maturity there? What happens when it comes to combining external and internal data on this front?
Of course, this is very essential and very important for you to have that data lake. And that integrations together, talking internally and externally, because you have your e-commerce websites, you have your, and today, as you can see, all of you, and you're using a lot of applications, a lot of digital touch points from different industries and so on. And that's one of the things that's important to synergize these data together to avoid Ashish issue of having the bank sending him that new account. Maybe he touched on some of the, that bank advertisements or any information there, and they thought he's a new customer. Therefore, having this, it's really, it's like a backbone for you to really navigate. And also you can use it throughout your different streams, especially in our industry, in automotive. Some companies have, used car, have services, have spare parts, have new cars and so on. A lot of areas that you can also use that to leverage on other opportunities to tap in. And that's really important to have that majority of data and to have that, dashboards and to have that analysis in front of you to make, fast decision making and really getting that quality information and making decision in the right and proper time.
Great. Ashish, have you seen any successes or big failures today when it comes to when it comes to combining these together from the beginning, or sort of going full-fledged on harnessing external, internal, whatever data lakes you can have, or is it something that?
No, I don't think I have seen a success story, to be honest, and maybe I'm not working with the right clients, but it's an opportunity. It gives us an opportunity to help them.
Just to clarify, we haven't worked together yet. So just to clarify that, yeah.
We also work with companies that have great data management policies. Oh, I think I've lost half my clients there. I think there is still a lot of room to look at your internal data, because it is first-party data, and it is data that has been consented and given to you by customers. Remember, data is a very touchy subject nowadays, with privacy laws, with confidentiality laws, with residency laws. So your internal data, usually you have the consent of your consumer. Getting it right is critical. If you don't get it right, then big challenge of bringing external data is the matching. If you can't get the external data to match with your internal data in the right way, you can do crazy things, like my bank sending me an open an account mail when I've already got an account with them for 20 years. And so I think focusing on internal data cleaning is critical, and that's the big advice we give everyone.
Munir, what's the take on your side of things?
Yeah, a few things. When I think about all of the data initiatives that I've seen and I've been involved with, there are three key hurdles that I see companies going through. The question of culture, so establishing data literacy and the data-driven culture in organizations. The second one is the question of ownership. Who owns data? Who owns what in data?
This is very...
And the answer is everyone. Data is everyone's ownership.
Not IT.
Not IT, not marketing, not finance. It's everyone's ownership. And the third one, which is the question of the starting point. What is the right starting point? And typically, a lot of organizations are starting with trying to build a data infrastructure with a data lake, and then some BI tools, and then some analytic tools, and taking a waterfall approach, which can take you through a journey of 2 to 5 years without having results. And the starting point that I would advise instead is using a use case driven approach to identify specific use cases, specific business problems we're trying to solve, and then developing those use cases. When we take a use case driven approach, it becomes less of a matter of whether we use first party data or external data. We use whatever right data is required to solve this use case. I've worked with one of the telcos in Saudi Arabia between 2008 and 2015 on their data-driven marketing programs. At that time, when we started, they didn't have a data lake, they didn't have a campaign management system, they didn't have an email messaging system, etc. But that program was generating around $1 billion riyals of incremental revenue per year using data and direct targeted SMS messages to clients. So you can achieve results using a use case driven approach while you're building the right environment for your data.
Amazing. You touched base as well on telcos, and telcos are sort of the giants when it comes to collecting data, when it comes to the influx of data coming into telcos is huge. And this takes us to our second topic, which is data today a burden? And by burden, what do we mean? So a lot of organizations today feel that they are collecting much faster than they are actually utilizing. And this is to a certain extent an issue in organizations. When you collect so fast and then you can't consume this data or you can't utilize it, it makes it sort of very tough. And according to Dell, they sort of ran a study across 4,000 decision makers in 40 locations around the globe. And what they discovered is that 70% of these organizations are collecting data faster than they can utilize it. So they end up with dumps and dumps and dumps of data, which no one knows how to leverage, how to harness the power of. It's a gold mine which we can't, sort of dig into and start reaping the fruits of it. So Again, the same question goes here. I'll start with Anas. What's your take on this? And can you tell us what is the e-com take on this all in all? And is this in Saudi specifically, is it something that we are suffering from, or you feel that we're out there?
I think everyone's suffering from that, and that's really obvious, and it's really crucial. And to be also linked that, I'll go to my first point that I mentioned, that about the strategy of your data, and linking it to your goals. For example, e-commerce. What do you want to achieve? What areas, that matrix that you want to achieve and to want to target and you want to also accomplish. Therefore, that makes it more for you, more focused, more narrowed, for you to achieve and to utilize that predictive analytics of that data to give you more, customers that are, willing to buy your products, your services, and on the e-commerce or offline or online, and having that omni-channel experience. And therefore, of course, I don't think we'll reach a time that, our data, what we'll get, it's, matching. Always it's going to be overwhelming, the data. That's why you focus on your business goals and you try to define that. And that will help you a lot in, your roadmap to achieve that, your business goals, your objectives, and so on, to achieve a real target customers that want to use you. Because the competition now is really big and huge, and a lot of people are having options. That's why you need to focus on the offering that you want to, or value you want to give to your customers.
So put the spotlight on the business KPIs, and then sort of diverge into.
Sure, that's really correct.
This topic actually rubs me the wrong way.
I know that.
It's you see your goal, you know exactly what you need to do to get there, but you just don't do it. Like the research, as you mentioned, highlights that these businesses understand that data is vital fuel. But what they're doing is they're not prioritizing, right?
True.
They're not empowering their data teams. Again, back to our first point. So you see smaller teams, smaller data teams, you see silos, and this empowering your data teams and giving them that priority, ensuring you have the right people on board, and championing that data-driven culture within organizations will actually ensure that you prioritize the right KPIs, the right metrics, identify the right data points to actually look at, which will minimize all this data waste that we're talking about.
So is it under data literacy, we're saying, to a certain extent?
Absolutely. It's data literacy and it's empowerment of this data culture within the whole organization.
You need every person or just to believe in data, basically.
Absolutely. As my fellow panelists just mentioned, data is everyone's responsibility, top to bottom. Everyone needs to be processing, harnessing data for the success and the growth of this organization.
Before it becomes a burden.
Absolutely. So I understand this is a short answer, but again, this rubs you the wrong way,
Straight
so
point.
I have to be straight to the point.
Straight to the point,
Yeah.
straight to the point. Ashish, what about the consulting side of things?
Yeah, no, I think I'll just end up repeating what Munir said, Anas said, which is lots of data. I think you have to identify what are your business problems. Business problem could be I need more people to go to stores in my Jeddah mall, or I'm losing too many customers on my mobile phone plan, and then identify what's the kind of data you need in order to make that analysis and come up with recommendations. So again, know what your business problem is and get the data that just solves that. Don't try to boil the ocean, and Anna said, prioritize.
What about when we start, sort of falling to this trap of saying that correlation and causation are no different, and we start, avoiding this distinction between something causing something and something correlated with something. So Munir, on this point specifically, we tend to, we see something happening, amazing, that's caused by this, by an action we took, or is it really a correlation of two things that happen together? So what about this specific topic within data becoming a burden? Do the organizations really fall into the traps of saying this is causing something as opposed to this is correlated to this? Or we're not seeing this a lot? And does this make it more of a burden today for organizations or no?
I think a lot of the burden is coming from taking the wrong approach and taking a siloed approach. Like you find very often IT teams building a data lake, building a data warehouse in isolation from business needs, business requirements, and what problems we want to solve. Let me draw a parallel. Like imagine you have a supermarket with millions of SKUs, but the category managers picking those SKUs are picking them based on what they think customers want, not based on understanding what customers want.
That's an issue for sure.
And that creates a huge disconnect.
Absolutely.
And that would make it a huge burden.
Absolutely.
I think we're being signaled about
We're done.
our time.
Let's go for the. Let's just take a watch out from each of us to leave the audience with on this harnessing data to unlock growth. We'll go.
Let's
Anas,
flip the
Munir.
order, yeah.
Maybe we'll go Anas. Oh, okay. Go ahead. Yeah.
Again, my advice to everyone is take a use case driven approach. Start with what results you would like to drive, what burning platform you want to solve, and reverse engineer your way from there. Don't wait for the data lake to be implemented or the data to be perfect or the quality to be 100% ready. Get started with your use cases and use this agile approach in order to build up those results.
Ashish, what's your thought?
Yeah, I think the big one is action. So we tend to fall in love with the data, we build models, we do a lot of things, but the most important thing is you've got to action on it. And a good example is in a company, a data analytics team that does beautiful modeling. They have identified an opportunity, but the user of that data, who might be the head of a business unit, doesn't get that analysis for 6 months because it's sitting in someone's laptop, and big opportunity loss. So actioning is important.
Anas.
To look at it, it's first of all, it's get your foundation really right and have the organization set up, the people, the talent. Why I'm saying that? Because if you look at the government now in the kingdom, they're doing a lot of, very ambitious about the digital transformation, and about a lot of laws are coming in and a lot of regulations, and Sadaya is working on that, and you have PDPL, and you have all these coming through. If you don't have your foundations right, you will be a little bit, lost. and coming to that also, and when you utilize your data very well, it will free up other teams for innovation. And makes decision making more faster. It makes also one of the things that I would like also to really point out here is about data will, if you do your predictive analytics very well, you will look out for your future cost. And when you look out in the future, how is my cost going, my sustainability of the business? This is important from cost of sales, operations, and so
Absolutely.
on. How can you know your cost in the future going? Is it up and down? That's really essential for you to avoid fluctuations in the market and so on. That's a point I feel we need to watch out in it in the future coming. Yes.
Anas, Sharif, this also something that pokes you a little bit. So let's leave us with the last watch out for the audience, and we can close and let them take a break. I think.
I need to. Is this still working? All right. I think I need to sit straight for this one. So this is again within the context of what we do as marketeers, right? You and I learned this the hard way. We faced adversity. We had a lot of challenges in order to finally, basically, arrive at this conclusion. Data is on the customer side, guys. Data is not here to support our narrative, nor to go against it. Data is neutral. It exists purely to tell us about our consumer needs or customer needs, our business performance, what's working and what's not. So my watch out for everyone would be, let's not be trigger happy with data when it supports our narrative, right? Let's always dissect and challenge that data to ensure we are covering any blind spots in terms of performance and having a full grasp on our business and an understanding of our business.
Thank you, Anas.
Thank you.